All right, guys. So we're going to be talking about another comic review, and this is from my friend Chris. Thank you as always, brother. And we're talking about World's Finest: Secret Origins. This is Volume 5 of Mark Waid's World's Finest run, which I haven't done in a while, but I've really enjoyed it. I always enjoy a good Superman-Batman story, and to have an ongoing series is really cool. Now, for those who don't know what this series is about, which I've done about 4 volumes of reviews, basically this is early years of the quote-unquote early years of the DC universe in this new continuity, talking about the early adventures of Superman and Batman when they're teaming up to fight big threats throughout the DC universe. It's also Mark Waid just getting to play in the sandbox. That's more what this comic really is. That's really more or less what Mark Waid is trying to do in this universe, because he's basically, in this book, it's canonizing this early years of the DC universe, and it's kind of fast and loose with early years. I mean, in here, Dick Grayson is still Robin in the comic, but yeah. This also did have an event with Justice League Unlimited where it deals with time travel, but I haven't gotten there yet. I still haven't read Justice League Unlimited Volume 1 yet. I don't know if that's out yet. But I have Volume 5 and 6, so that will probably World's Finest Volume 6 will probably be the next comic I review. And you're wondering why I finished this so fast, because this is kind of a fast book. The other storylines were actually a lot more meatier. The last one I did involved them going back to the Kingdom Come timeline and ending up battling Magog, which turned out to be a boy who Superman befriended and tried to raise his own and be a sidekick called Boy Thunder, and he grew up to be Magog. It's a whole thing. So if you haven't guessed, this comic is about the secret origin of Superman and Batman, which it does pay a little homage to John Byrne's Man of Steel book, where Superman met Batman for the first time. In here, they're rewriting it, where this is the new canonized origin of Superman and Batman's origin. And they do reference Magpie, but she's not a big part of this book. What is the main story? The main story is that it's about Riddler, who is now writing riddles in an unknown language. But when it's being run in Metropolis, Clark realizes that's the language of Krypton. He shouldn't know that. So Superman goes to Metropolis to find out what Riddler knows, and comes across Batman, who's like, he's trying to be like, I work alone, Superman. I don't trust you. And Superman's like, yeah, but I know he's speaking Kryptonese, so you're gonna need to help. You're gonna need my help. And Batman's like, cool, okay. And that's it. There's no Superman-Batman fight, which Mark Waid really hates. I've never known this, but apparently Mark Waid had a major disdain for the Snyderverse, which, welcome to the club, but yeah, he really hated it. So in here, obviously this is before Bruce got brought Dick in as Robin. So this is like year one, somewhere year one Robin, like year one Batman or early year 2 Batman. So they team up, and I like how they just realize each other's identity, where Clark, Bruce just puts it together, like, your Midwestern accent means like you're somewhere from probably Kansas. You're also probably a reporter because you have a day job and you want to keep your ear to the ground. And he's like, all right, I'm Bruce Wayne. I can trust you with if I can figure out your secret, I think it's only fair that I trust you with mine, because you were going to figure it out anyway. Yeah. So it turns out there's also another mystery going on. The other mystery that is going on is the fact that people are vanishing out of thin air, and Batman believes it's something to do with the Riddler, who's acting erratic. Well, turns out those people are being pulled into the Phantom Zone through a breach that's hiding in Gotham. And someone from the other side in the Phantom Zone is using Riddler to try to pill that breach. And I know what you're thinking. It's not Zod. Yeah. You want to know who it is? It's Jax-Ur from the from the Superman animated series, right? I was like, holy crap. I was actually taken aback when I was like, because I was thinking the whole time, it's Zod. It's going to be Zod. Whenever it's the Phantom Zone and there's a Kryptonian, it's always Zod. Jax-Ur? Okay. I was kind of hoping we'd get Jax-Ur and Mala, his wife. But no. We just get Jax-Ur, which is fine. I like the fight. The fight between Superman and Jax-Ur is actually pretty solid. I like the battle between the two and Bruce trying to go into the Phantom Zone to save everyone. It's a cool scene. But it's really more of, this is the new first adventure of Superman and Batman, and that's it. That's the canonized ending. So the comic really, the story should be called shouldn't be called Secret Origins. It should be more like Secret Origins and Other Stories, because we get an annual that involves other stories like Metamorpho, the Challengers of the Unknown, and I believe the other story that I'm missing is Bumblebee. They're all going to be important in later comics, obviously, in like Mark Waid's other work. But yeah, also Mark Waid has a real big thing for Metamorpho. Like he has a real affinity for the character of Metamorpho, because he shows up a lot in World's Finest and a lot of his work. He also has a lot of love for, like, again, I've said it before that Mark Waid, while he has written for Marvel and it has a joy for writing Marvel, it's clear his true heart belongs to the DC universe. And World's Finest is an example, is like the encapsulation of everything he's ever loved about the DC universe. Now, the other comic, the other stories are like one-and-dones involved. Well, one's a one-and-done. The other is a prologue that's going to feed into the next chapter, the next volume. The first story is the new canonized version of Lex and Joker's first encounter. Basically, Lex wants to use Joker's insanity to break into the Rock of Eternity. And so that means Luthor has to go into Joker's mind, and if you can imagine it, it's not fun. So that's really the tails and ends of that book. The next one is a prologue story that, again, feeds into Volume 6, which is called Impossible, where Bat-Mite and Mr. Mxyzptlk are battling a new villain called Doom-Mite, who I've seen the character of Doom-Mite. Dude looks like Mojo from X-Men. Like, go look him up. Go look up Doom-Mite. I'm not joking. He straight up looks like, and I'm not joking, he straight up looks like Mojo from the X-Men books. That cannot be not on purpose. Like, that cannot be an accident. He worked at Marvel. He knows what Mojo looks like. Anyway, so this is fun. This is more of a stopgap story. It's more of a collection. The Secret Origin is okay. It is cool to see Jax-Ur again, but this is kind of the weakest of the volumes so far. I think, which is funny because Volume 4, I remember saying Volume 4, Return to Kingdom Come, was the strongest. But yeah, so I am excited to see what happens with the Imp storyline involving the Fifth Dimension, but we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, if you have read World's Finest Volume 5 Secret Origins, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of it. Once again, I'd like to thank my good friend Chris for sending me this book and others. And yeah, other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in Multiverse.